So there is a real reason that you're not reaching the goals that you set, or even that you're too frightened to allow yourself to set a goal, but it's not what you think. And to understand what's not working, we need to look directly at this thing called a goal. So what is a goal? It's an idea of somewhere that we think we should get to, or something that we think we need to do. Think. It's coming from up here, right? We have a concept and a picture of it in our minds. And we can picture it, which means that it can only come from what we already know, which is the past. Because if we were really stepping into a new chapter of our lives or a new experience of ourselves in the world, it would be such a change from what we know, what we're experiencing right now, that it would have to be unknown from here to here. So in the process of setting a goal, let's look at what the human mind is doing. We are hoping for something different over here, but it's being created from the past. And when we're working from the past, all that we can generate, all that we can possibly generate, and of course this is unconscious, is more of the same. And if you want a sort of a better version of where you've been, which is the same, that's fine. But it is a loop and it's limited. And ultimately we don't get to experience that bigger expansion that we know we're capable of. So what can we do differently? Well, in the way that I work as a psychotherapist and a maturation coach, we shift our attention and our energy from the goal to where it's being generated from, to that old way of being that is already always there, established, giving us our world. And this is fundamental, because working at the root of anything is the only way to create any real shift. Otherwise, we're just mopping up symptoms. And there is an actual how here. And it's a new kind of process that I'm going to walk you through. So, if we want to outgrow the past, that one that you're stuck in, round and round, the first thing that we have to do is reveal that past, i.e. find a way to access our unconscious and get really honest with what's being held there, so that we can reveal the old pattern that is limiting our ability to grow. And what's one of the most honest resources that we have in our lives, right here already? Our dreams. Dreams are amazing. Overlooked but amazing. Dreams surface raw emotional experiences and feelings that we're carrying all the time. Anxiety, vulnerability, fear, rage, disgust, shadow parts of us that we would rather reject or turn away from. They are important messages from our psyche. And we don't need much of a dream to work with. Even a small fragment can be enough to begin. Maybe the mood of a dream, some small details, an animal, a symbol, a word, because all of these pieces are a kind of arrow pointing us towards an emotion that is beneath our conscious awareness. But it's also ready, because it's rising in a dream. It's ready for us to see it and feel it and work with it and bring it to consciousness so that we can choose a different way. So one of the first things in my practice is to turn towards our dreams. We write them down. We step into dialogue with that mysterious well of wisdom within us, and we sort of let them work on us. They speak a strange language, but if we can slow down enough, they are speaking such truth. There is another place where our unconscious is held, and it's the fabric of the body-mind, the soma. That's that deeper layer within us where everything we've ever experienced is held. The body keeps the score. In Jungian psychotherapy, we refer to the knots of trauma that are held in the body-mind as complexes. And in maturation coaching, we call these very core experiences frozen moments in time. Past traumas that we could not feel or metabolize when they happened because they were too overwhelming. But they do live within us as core beliefs about who we are, such as I don't belong, I'm wrong, I'm not safe in the world. And then these beliefs that were identified become survival strategies, like always keeping one foot in and one foot out of a relationship. Now, we don't realize this is the fuel for our entire way of being and that it's giving us the world that we get. But through a very deep kind of listening, an ontology, an inquiry into our being, and tracking back to those original ruptures, we can bring them into conscious awareness and remove their power to be leading our lives. So if we can uncover somatically what's held within our being, how might we then begin to alchemize it or embody it, step back into the flow of this present moment rather than drawing from the past? And I work with elemental Qigong, which is the movement part of my practice. Qigong is an ancient Chinese method and philosophy drawn from Taoism. It's suitable for all ages, accessible to everyone. It's primarily designed to restore flow in the body. Now, let me tell you, that does not mean perfection. That means releasing tension and stagnation and activating the body's natural healing response so that a rebalancing can begin to move, rather than us being in this state of being braced against life or trying to manage the mess of our humanness, which is also what self-improvement is about, which is what most human beings are doing most of the time. And there is a lot of self-improvement in our midst right now. Ultimately, we get in the way of life, including all of its light and its dark, because the human mind is built and evolved for survival. And what is survival? Survival is trying not to die. It's not really living. And the prism of my practice is truth-seeking, beyond the grip of survival. And that underlies the modalities I work with in my practice. The truth our dreams are trying to speak to us all the time. The truthful emotions that live beneath our idea of who we should be or how we should behave, our persona. And the truth that there is much more wisdom in the non-verbal realm of the body than we realize. And that there is a way to create an environment where the body feels safe enough to release its truth and thereby to heal. We're just removing the resistance that's in the way. And when we bring attention to the past that's living our life and generating the goals we think we need, then we have some level of power to shift where we're coming from, which in turn shifts our entire way of being, which is creation. And true creation can only happen in and from the now. Otherwise, we're just repeating what's already been. And in this place, a spaciousness opens up, where we get to meet ourselves, really meet ourselves, sometimes for the first time. And then you might just find that the goals you've been grappling with don't seem to fit anymore. But that from that emptying out, something genuinely new can emerge. And everything that I have described to you here is the way that I practice. I walk the walk. So that's the ontology of my one-to-one maturation spaces, the therapy groups that I run, and the Qigong classes that I offer once a month at the moment. You can come to any of those spaces or you can make an inquiry. Sometimes I have openings in my one-to-one. But there's a really exciting place in my practice, which is where I bring them all together in a 6-month group experience called Earth Matrix. There's space for just 8 human beings. It's a 6-month process. This year it will be from November to April next year. And the waitlist is open. So if you'd like to be the first to hear when applications begin, then you can sign up and you'll hear from me soon. Thank you so much for listening.